Now our gear axles are going to be 10mm square pieces of hardwood. Now squares aren't perfect for rotating, but that's what we're going to use because it's easy for us to just manufacture these and worry about these. When you're creating your more complicated gear systems, you may need to require to 3D print some special pins to hold your gears in place more accurately. But in this case, we're just going to use a simple square pin. So let's create that now. I'm going to press on R for rectangle, or this model point up here. And first things first, I'm going to do it on the big cog. So I'm going to make sure that that part there is highlighted and click on this. It now take me to, and you notice it rotates it at a strange angle. I'm basically going to roughly draw out a rectangle there that's going to go around this. I'm now going to go to the dimensioning tool, and I'm going to use D from now on, but the dimensioning tool is down here, and it's got a shortcut of D. So I'm basically going to pull out this one to be 10 degrees, and I'm going to pull this one up to also be, 10 millimeters, not degrees. I'm now going to use this center point from here to here and set this distance to be 5, which is half of 10. And do the same here. We now have our axle at a perfect center point. So I can go stop sketch. If I press the home button, it'll take me back to the view that I need to see for that particular movement. I'm now going to press the modify button, and I'm going to pull that right through and press OK. I now have a square hole through which my axle, my 10mm by 10mm wooden axle, will fit and drive the cog. We'll do the same thing on this side, rectangle. Click on that particular shape. Make sure you avoid, I'll press this and go back again. When I press R for rectangle, make sure you avoid that orange square there. That orange square is a plane. You don't want to put it on the orange square. You want to put it on this surface over here, which is the surface of the cog. You'll notice it turns at a slight angle. We can fix that by just pressing this button here, and it'll take us to a nice right angle. We're basically going to put in another square. This is going to be 10 by 10. Now we can type in 10 tab 10 and press enter, and we won't have to worry about those dimensions. It puts them on automatically. And I'm going to now press the dimension from this point here to this point here to be 5mm, and this one here and this one here to also be 5mm. And now I'm going to press stop sketch. I'm going to press modify, and I'm going to pull that through to be -12 as well, so that I now have 2 square holes. Now that I can see my square holes, I can model my my uprights. But you notice when I press the home button, both of these are stuck in a sort of 90 degrees to what I want. I want to be able to put this in a nice upright phase. So let's go press the move tool. Now if I move this one first, it's going to rotate funny because I've already rotated it at 90 degrees. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to press on that part there, on the big one, the one that I didn't rotate to match the cogs, and then I'm going to press this one here. Now that I've done that, I'm going to choose the one that rotates it around, which is this one here, and rotate that 90 degrees, will be fine, and press enter. Now when I press the home button, they are upright. So now I can model them in the upright fashion. I'm going to use something called an offset plane. That's in construct, offset plane. I'm going to capture these positions now, and I'm going to click on this plane here, and I'm going to offset it by a bit more than 3mm. The reason why I'm using 3mm is because my washers, which hold the cogs apart from the uprights, are 3mm thick. So let's choose 3.5mm thick, which will reduce our frictional issues. So 3.5mm out from this cog, I'm going to model an upright. I'm going to use a rectangle to do this, and I'm going to click on this new special plane that I created. I'm now basically going to create a big rectangle. The rectangle is going to be above the square holes and go below the actual bottom of the cog. So I've got them above the square holes, I've got them below the bottom of the cog there. I'm going to do a dimension now, and I'm going to choose this point here and this point here, and I'm going to make it at least, let's just go with 15, a nice round number above. Now I'm going to use the dimension of this little guy here and this line here, and let's just go with 30 below. So that'll give us the heights that we need. This is basically going to be my upright. I'm going to hit stop sketch now, and I'm going to press Q, and I'm going to select that whole rectangle. I'm going to pull it out 12 millimeters and press OK. That is my upright. So my upright basically is going to sit right there. I need a hole through my upright with which to rotate my square axle. So basically what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create another sketch. Just going to create a sketch with the Create Sketch tool, and I'm going to create it on this particular plane here. It's now got me in the sketch mode. I'm going to use a special tool called the Project tool. If I go to Sketch, we can see that the Project tool is not easy to find. The Project tool is best found by pressing P, and what it means is I can actually project other shapes onto my sketch. So I'm going to press the P to project the tool, and I'm going to select 1, 2, 3, 4, just those 4 off that one, and 1, 2, 3, 4 of those square holes there, and I'm going to press on OK. Now if I go back to my sketch, so if I go back to my sketch, there it is. I can see that I've got those holes there. You can also see that I've still got that little circle there which is coming through from the sketch on the cogs. I'm going to use the circle tool now and start at the middle and go out to here, and I can see that it's 14.1214. I'm going to set my dimension to be 14.2, just so that it's going to be big enough to go through that. I'm now going to press the same thing again, circle, C for circle, and draw the same one here, 14.2. I'm going to press stop sketch, and those are what I'm going to push through. So I'm going to go modify, and I'm going to select that and the outside and this and the outside, and I'm going to go back -12 to go right the way through. So you can see there that my cog goes right the way through, and I've got circles on either side. The final thing I need to do is I need to use a mirror command. Now if you're going to make yours look more attractive and change it so that you can see the workings of the cog better, you need to do that now before you do anything else. But make sure you leave a 12mm section down the bottom. What we're going to do first though here is I'm going to mirror these from one side to the other. I'm going to use this by creating a special type of plane called a mid-plane. The mid-plane is going to be between here, this side of this cog, and this side of this cog. And you can see it creates a plane perfectly in the middle. I'm now going to use that mid-plane as a mirror point. So I'm going to go create, mirror, and I'm going to mirror a body. That would be this body here. And I'm going to then select the plane that I'm going to use, and the plane I'm going to use is that mid-plane, and I'm going to press OK. And you can see there that my other upright is now ready.